Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. My name is Alpa Sharma, and I hope all of you are doing really good today. Am I clearly visible and audible to everyone on YouTube as well as the app? Am I clearly visible and audible, everyone? Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Devesh. Am I clearly visible and audible to you? Yes? Very good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mobiz. Can you hear and see me clearly? If you could quickly confirm that. I'm absolutely good. Yes, clearly visible and audible. Okay, so Akash's first session. I'm sure you're going to learn a lot of things today, Akash. Hi, Raghav. Yes, बिल्कुल आज notes बना लो, आज important है. So we're going to be discussing how to identify the tone of the author. Now, let's first know if it's at all important from the perspective of our BB entrance examinations. Understand something. Show you. Yes. If you sit for any competitive examination that has reading comprehensions as a component of verbal ability, then the chances are very, very high that you would get a direct question on the tone of the author, identification of that. So that is a very important topic. Two, even if a direct question does not come where you are asked to identify the tone of the author, understanding that becomes supremely important for you to be able to understand the entire reading comprehension effectively. How and why is the author saying this? And what is the purpose of saying the whole passage? Becomes very easy when you identify the tone. Thus, tone becomes a supremely important topic from the perspective of reading comprehensions. So today we'll try to identify what are the tones, how do we identify them. We'll solve some questions also where I'll give you small paragraphs where I'll ask you to identify the tone after the theory that I give you. So it becomes a very important session. But before we start off with that, I'll take you through a few things. On 4th of February, we have a mega workshop on CUCET. So if you're targeting this examination and if you need to know anything and everything about this examination, make sure you attend this session at 2 p.m. 4th of February. Rohit Pam is going to help you with everything about this examination. If your target is CUCET, we have also launched a new batch where we'll train you for this examination. So if this is your target, make sure you enroll yourself for this batch at the earliest. And we've launched our champion course for CUCET we're going to launch it on 10th of February. So late mat karo, jaldi se iske enrollments mein enroll kar lo, because otherwise आप बहुत सारे important classes miss out कर दोगे. If you're targeting NPAT, SED, GGS, IPO, Christ University and St. Xavier's exams, अगर ये वाले BB entrance exams आप target कर रहे हो, तो इसके लिए 14th of January को हमने एक batch launch किया है, BB ranker course. तो इनके प्रिपरेशन के लिए ये बैच है आपके लिए, एनरोल कर लो जल्दी से. अगर सिर्फ इपमैट एंड डीयूचैट आपका टारगेट है, then look no further. Our batch 3 has been launched, which will prepare you for these examinations specifically. Enroll yourself right away. Now, we have free sessions every day on our channel. Let me quickly brief you about the sessions that we have. Every day at 4 p.m., we have free sessions of logical reasoning by Rohindit ma'am. Every day at 2 p.m., we have free sessions on GK by Salik sir. Every day at 12:30 p.m., we have free sessions on verbal ability and critical reasoning by me, Alpa Sharma. And every day at 11 a.m., we have free sessions on QA by Ankur sir on this platform. So make sure you've subscribed to this channel so that you don't miss out on these free sessions. And they're going to be continuing for a long period of time. So, सारे attend करने, सारे share करने, subscribe करना है channel को. Cool. You know all our eminent faculties, the best in the industry. We've got Rohindip ma'am, Rabia ma'am, Salik sir, Vinod sir, and Ankur sir. तो इनसे पढ़ने के लिए enroll कर लो जल्दी से batch में. Okay. Now questions. I'm confused. Vansh says. अच्छा उसके पहले सचिन का question लेते हैं. नहीं. So Sachin says क्लैट में कितने क्वेश्चंस पूछे जाते हैं इस टॉपिक से? एवरी ईयर एक दो क्वेश्चंस इस टॉपिक पे जरूर आते हैं और इसको मास्टर करना बहुत इजी है. एंड अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट सचिन, क्योंकि क्लैट प्रीडोमिनेंटली एक रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन बेस्ड एग्जाम है, ये समझना आपके लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है. Okay, this will help you with your boards too. Yes, absolutely. Yes, OG, it's going to. Ma'am, I'm confused that with which topic should I prepare for WAT22? Once I am going to take a session on WAT, but अभी आप और मैं आपको बताऊंगी कौन से टॉपिक्स आपको करने हैं. But अभी आपको जिस चीज पे फोकस करने का नीड है वो है रीडिंग द न्यूज़पेपर एडिटोरियल्स. बिकॉज मोस्टली जो WAT टॉपिक्स होते हैं वो कहीं ना कहीं करंट अफेयर से रिलेटेड होते हैं. एंड ये एडिटोरियल्स आपको ओपिनियंस देते हैं, आइडियाज देते हैं जो आप लिख सकते हो WAT में. So before I take this session on WAT and I tell you the important topics, I would want you to keep reading the editorials every day and don't miss out on that. Okay, मैम वर्ड्स भी बता देना बहुत सारे. मैम टॉप टोन पहचान लेती हूँ लेकिन सिनोनिम्स में स्टक हो जाती हूँ. Yes, we're going to do that as well. Okay, so ready everyone? Hi Manas, hi Nimish, great to see you on the app as well. So here we go with our idea. अब सबसे पहले let's understand what is exactly the tone and why is identifying the tone a difficult task for us. So tone is precisely the attitude in which the author believes into something and he would use some adjectives to write that article. So when I say this budget is good or when I say this budget is bad, these good and bad, are they my opinions? Are they my opinions that the budget is good or the budget is bad? Yes, it is. It is my opinion. Yes. Now, your tone completely depends on the writer's opinion and how he has stated his opinion. What mood is he in while he is writing the article? When you go to hardcore grammar and literature, tone actually is a little different from mood. Whereas in the perspective of competitive examinations, tone precisely is your mood only. मैं किस मूड में लिख रही हूँ एक आर्टिकल, मैंने कैसे देखा है एक आर्टिकल को, वो ही मेरा टोन डिटरमाइन करेगा. सो आज आप जब एडिटोरियल्स पढ़ रहे होगे या कल जो आपने एडिटोरियल्स पढ़े थे, इट वाज फुल ऑफ सम पीपल प्रेजिंग द बजट, सम पीपल क्रिटिसाइजिंग द बजट. जो प्रेज कर रहे थे उनका टोन था गुड और जो क्रिटिसाइज कर रहे थे उनका टोन था कि वो बैड है एडिटोरियल. तो ये जो एडजेक्टिव्स है, ये वर्ड्स जो ऑथर के ओपिनियन पे डिपेंड करते हैं, गुड और बैड तो ओपिनियन ही होता है. सो दोज वर्ड्स दैट आर डिपेंडेंट ऑन द ऑथर्स ओपिनियंस, दोज वर्ड्स will determine your tone and they could be multiple words. Now, identifying the tone is actually not a very difficult task. Knowing the meaning of the word is a difficult task, my children. I'm going to give you some notes today and I would expect you to jot them down in a notebook and keep adding words to it. You would need to do some homework after the class. I'll tell you what the homework is supposed to be. So for example, if I say my tone is good, right? So I can be praiseworthy, I can be appreciative, or I can be laudatory. All of these are synonyms only. So instead of giving you good as a tone or praiseworthy as a tone, he could give you laudatory as a tone. You need to know the meaning of the word. So, tone of the author becomes difficult because it is majorly a test of your vocabulary. And then sometimes some tones are very, very close. How do we differentiate between those close tones? So these are the two things we're going to work on today. Different types of tones and how do I eliminate the close ones. Any questions, anybody? Is that absolutely clear to everyone? What's the whole problem that people face while identifying tones? Also, when I teach you these tones, I would expect you to read every editorial article and try to figure out the tone. Because once you do that, it's very easy for you to work on them. You do this, trust me, you will never get tones wrong. Never in your life get tones wrong. Whatever examination that you sit for, you would never get them wrong. Okay? So, yes, everybody understands that? Cool. Now, let me show you a few things. I would divide all the tones that exist in the world into three clear categories that are positive, negative, and neutral. So why would I do that? Why would I categorize all the tones into three categories? These categories depend on the author's opinions. Now, if the author has a positive opinion, it would be any one of the positive tones. Let's take the example of the budget. He says the budget is good. He has a positive opinion about the budget. So laudatory and praiseworthy and reverential, all of these could be positive tones. If he criticizes the budget, his opinion is a negative one. So he could say critical or sarcastic or sardonic. Any one of the tones could be true. But if the author does not give any opinion, then it's going to be a neutral article. Sometimes you see an article on science and he explains what's the gravitational theory. That's a neutral article. An article that explains why is our country in the deep fiscal deficit right now. It explains that. That explanatory article is a neutral one because the author does not have an opinion. So just remember, a neutral tone will be a tone, any tone, that is without any opinion of the author. That's what our neutral tone is going to be. Okay, so ma'am, you take lots of classes through the day. Do some exercise and take care of your eyes. I do that, Popsy. Thank you so much for your concern. Ma'am, in my perspective, I do the passage correctly, but my school ma'am cut my marks. I don't know why she cut my marks. You need to speak to her, Vansh. You need to identify what mistake did you do. In your perspective, you do the passage correctly, but possibly your perspective could be wrong. Possibly she expects something else out of your answers. That's why your marks are cut. Please sit with her and identify what went wrong with your scores. Yes? Ma'am, if we identify the tone, it may help in identifying the confusion. Yes, for sure, my child. Okay, so let's move ahead. So, is this clear, everyone? Positive, negative, neutral, the difference between them? Any questions? No? So, let's move with our first category, the positive tones. I told you the author would have a positive opinion about any existing thing. Okay, so for example, we say Rafael Nadal he showed a brilliant performance in the second half of the match. Okay, when I say the word brilliant performance, I have a positive opinion. That whole article about Rafael Nadal's performance and he being one of the best tennis players in the world, when I say best, am I praising him? Praiseworthy is a tone where I talk good and when I appreciate the person I'm talking about, the thing I'm talking about. So praiseworthy could be our first tone here. Okay. The author say both positive or negative. Okay, Praveen, in that case, when the author says both positive and negative, then it's going to be a neutral one. Understand that, okay? So, I hope you understand the praiseworthy tone. Then comes admiring tone. When you look up to someone, like your parents, you admire your parents, you admire the kind of match Rafael Nadal has played. Rather than only saying, "Bahut acha khela, very good, tremendous performance," you say, "Oh, I would want to be like him someday. I like his resilience. Even with the fact that he was injured, he did his best. I want to be like him. I admire him for what he is doing." So, praiseworthy is a close tone to admiring, but there's a tinge of difference. When you look up to somebody, it's admiring. Got that, my people? Yes? Yes. Now, reverential becomes a closer tone to admiring, but there's a difference. Reverential is when you look up to somebody like a god. When you put them on a pedestal, you look up to them is admiring. Okay, so Rafael Nadal, you look up to him, you want to be like him, you are admiring. But there is nobody closer to Nadal. He is equal to God of the tennis for you. That's reverential. You pray to him. That's reverential. So a higher degree of admiring would be reverential. Okay. Now see, Preeti, everyone, can you come up with synonyms of admiring? Synonyms to admiring. Anyone? Can you come up with them? What could be the synonyms that you could use for admiring? Priyanka, yes, glorification could be close to reverential. Yes. Glorifying would be more close to reverential rather than admiring. Okay? Any other synonyms to admiring? Looking up to someone, okay? Venerate, yes, Alifa, very good. Veneration, yes, that's admiring, my child, yes. Laudatory, Anushka, would be more close to praiseworthy. Laudatory is a synonym to praiseworthy, okay? Yes, all right. Then comes sanguine. Sanguine is another positive tone, which means hopeful. When you're hopeful about the future, like you're optimistic. COVID is going to end, our economy is going to revive. We're hopeful about the next financial year. I am optimistic or sanguine or hopeful. That's sanguine. Okay, eulogize, very good, Harshita. That's going to be a synonym to admiring. Yes, it's going to be. Ebullient would be more, Shruti would be more close to praiseworthy. Okay, my child? Instead of admiring, closer to praiseworthy. See, Preeti, that's the magic of having so many people in the class. You see so many words coming together. I hope you are making your notes and jotting everything down. Because, and then whatever list you're making, keep adding words to it. The words that you come across in my Hindu classes, because we discuss a lot of them, you keep coming words across words that you see in mocks and tests. Please keep jotting them down so that you have a mini list and you keep revising that time to time. Okay, so that's going to be our next word. And then we have ebullience. See, ebullience is actually a synonym to praiseworthy, a direct synonym to praiseworthy. No difference. So ebullience is when you talk really good and appreciate someone for what they have done. That's praiseworthy. So when I say, oh, I'm ebullient with the fact that you're giving me so many synonyms, that's going to be ebullient. I'm happy, I am praising you. Okay. Veneration, to admiring, yes. Okay. All right. So idolizing for reverential या फिर admiring, depend करता है कितनी डिग्री पे आप यूज कर रहे हो. Idolizing दोनों पे हो सकता है, admiring में भी हो सकता है, reverential पे भी हो सकता है. Okay. Exuberant for ebullient, yes, Devesh, my child, you're absolutely right. Yes, Raji, wanting. That's correct too. Yes. All right, guys. Okay, now I hope the positive tones are clear to you. Let me give you some more examples of negative tones now or neutral tones now. But before I do that, are you guys able to understand these? Ebullient हो गया, praise करना बच्चे. Yes, wanting is ebullient. Are you able to understand everything that I'm explaining? Extolling, Alifa, excellent job. Yes, extolling हो सकता है. बिल्कुल. अच्छा, समझ में आ रहा है आप लोगों को? तो समझ में आ रहा है तो शेयर कर दो मेरा वीडियो. Do me this little favor. Mopsy, instead of, doing me this favor of telling me to exercise, could you share my video? That's going to help me more. Do it right away. Tell everybody ma'am is teaching tones right now. Come over to the class. Let's learn more words together. Yes? Let's go to the next tone. If you shared your video, tell me so that I can thank you for that. Neutral ones. Okay, now the neutral ones. These are tricky ones because here you've got closed tones and sometimes it's difficult for you to differentiate between the closer ones. I'll explain how. Now look at a newspaper. When you open page number 1, the tone in page number 1 is factual because the first page only quotes what has happened. Data. When there's data, it's a factual article. A chapter from your statistics book, factual. A chapter from probably your economics book could be factual, could be anything else as well. When there's a lot of data, that's a factual tone. Manish, ebullience is praising. बहुत अच्छा अच्छा बोलना. ठीक है? बहुत अच्छा काम किया आपने. I'm so glad about your selection. It's ebullient. ठीक है? Bopsy, these are synonymous. There's no difference between them. Okay. Thank you so much, Popsy and Preeti, for sharing. And Nikita, you too, my child. Okay. So based on facts, yes, that's factual. But factual could also be explanatory. When does a passage become factual to explanatory? Page number 2 or 3 is more of explanatory. Only data, factual. Describing the event, explanatory. क्या हुआ, कब हुआ, सिर्फ numbers और information लिखना, factual. उसको समझाना is explanatory. Sometimes editorial articles are also explanatory. Sometimes your economics books chapters are also explanatory. Thank you, Tesseract. Yes, if that's what you've written, it's too small for me to see. Yes, thank you so much. So that's going to be an explanatory passage. Okay. Then comes objective one. Objective is very close to explanatory. It can be marked as a synonym to explanatory. How? An objective passage means I have something in my mind. I want to explain that to you. That's my objective. And I sit down to write a passage, explain something to you. The explanatory can be an objective passage. They are synonymous. Objective is I want to explain something to you by pointers. There are three things that the budget is going wrong with. Firstly, secondly, thirdly. जब ये firstly, secondly, thirdly आता है, ये objective हो जाता है. But अगर मेरा passage criticism पे based है, तो वो neutral tone नहीं होगा. Remember, it's going to be a negative tone. Remember, yes, Devesh, it's going to be unbiased. Objective is going to be unbiased. Okay, that's going to be our next tone. Then comes philosophical. So philosophical in itself means logic, love for logic, life, death, existence, life after death. Why are you born? What is matter? Why does matter exist? All of this, talking about all of this is philosophy. And I'm sure philosophical passage ढूंढने में आपको problem नहीं होगी. A lot of people in my classes say, मैम जो समझ में नहीं आता वो philosophical होता है. ऐसा नहीं है, क्योंकि फिलॉसफी भी समझ में आ सकती है, बट फिलोसफिकल होता है जब आप लाइफ, डेथ, एग्जिस्टेंस इनकी बातें करते हो. यस, आर्टिकुलेशन राजीव आप बोल सकते हो. ठीक है, दैट्स गोइंग टू बी a close one to maybe philosophical, close one, not exactly, but a close one to philosophy. Got this, everybody? Next one, contemplative. A, B, C, D, चार ऑप्शन है. कौन सा मार्क करना चाहिए, सोच रहे हो? Should I take, should I sit for CUET, or should I sit for GGS IPU, or should I sit for IPMAT? कौन सी एग्जाम का फॉर्म भरना चाहिए? भरना चाहिए तो कौन सा BBA कोर्स लेना चाहिए? ये जो क्वेश्चंस आप सोच रहे हो, सोचना, अपने माइंड में प्रोसेस करना, think. That is contemplation. Pondering, Rajiv, my child. Yes, you're right. That exactly is contemplative. That is contemplative. Contemplative similar to objective used for examination. Yes. Which one do I mark? Okay, so pondering exactly is contemplative. You think, what should I do? What is the next step should I do? How should I prepare for verbal ability? How should I prepare for critical reasoning? That's contemplative. You think. Got that, everyone? Yes. And the last one is persuasive. Now, see, be very careful. Persuasive can be a positive tone as well. So, when you, for example, I tell you every day, please read the editorials, please read the newspaper. पेपर पढ़ोगे तो आपको टोन समझ में आएगी, आपको वोकैबुलरी समझ में आएगी, आपको WAT में हेल्प होगा. What am I trying to do? I'm giving you reasons to convince you. And that process of convincing somebody is persuasion. Healthy vegetables खाया करो, exercise किया करो, eyes खराब मत किया करो. What am I doing? I'm persuading you to lead a healthy life. That tone is a persuasive one. Observe is contemplative. Yes, Nikita, it can be. Voracious or voracious. Contemplative, वापसी सोचना, क्या करना चाहिए मुझे, क्या मैंने सही किया ये, या मुझे कुछ और करना चाहिए, ये होता है contemplative. Pursue करना, convince करना is persuasive. Yes, convince करना आपको कि कर लो भाई, ये तुम्हारे help में होगा. That is persuasive. Please do this, it's going to help you a lot. That is a persuasive tone. Did you get? And then I'll add on one more here, the sixth one, which is a very frequently seen one in our editorials, and that is analytical. Yesterday's newspaper was full of analytical passages on our budget. That is, if the budget is good, where did it lack? What were the good things? What do you do here? You talk about good, you talk about bad, you see why. Basically, analytical tone means processing of information. Okay, I'll write that down again for you. Analytical means processing of information. क्यों हुआ, सही हुआ, गलत हुआ, क्या करना चाहिए था, क्या इम्पैक्ट हो सकता है इसका. You are processing information, you are analyzing the data, analyzing somebody's decision. Very common in editorials. Yes. Encouraging movies could be persuasive. Yes. Yes. And so am I. Everyone here is cool, and so am I. I'll take that. Ma'am, you didn't read. I am reading your comments, Tarun. I am reading your comments. Yes. Okay. So, thinking can be contemplative. Expository is explanatory. Simple. Alifa, expository is a synonym to explanatory. So you could mark that as a synonym too. Okay? Alright. So neutral tones are done. Now let's come to our negative tones. Negative tones. You have a negative opinion here. When you criticize somebody, finding flaws, wrong budget, they should not have done that. It's going to have a negative impact. What am I doing? I'm criticizing. I'm finding flaws. So the first common tone is critical, which means finding flaws. That's critical. गलत किया, नहीं करना चाहिए था ऐसा. Critical, finding flaws. Yes, and then comes caustic. Caustic is critical with being rude, insensitive. That is, you give rude remarks. You are not worth it. I'm caustic. I'm rude here. आप लायक नहीं हो ये बजट बनाने के. I'm rude. I'm caustic. Yes. Persuasive. Yes. Persuasive नहीं बच्चे. Persuasive neutral से positive में भी आ सकता है. ध्यान रखना. Okay. All right. Acerbic. Yes, caustic का synonym हो गया Alipa. Acerbic is rude. Right? Then comes sardonic. अब देखो sardonic क्या होता है? लोग inferior हैं, ठीक है. आप caustic भी हो सकते हो क्योंकि आपको लोग inferior लगते हैं. आप critical भी हो सकते हो क्योंकि कोई आपको inferior लगता है. But sardonic is आप superior हो. I am just too good for everybody else. I am sardonic. In short, I am the don. मुझे और सब useless लगता है. I am just too good and nobody is worth my knowledge, my expertise. If I say something like that, I am sardonic here. Extremely negative tone. That is what sardonic means. No, bache, Devesh, now be very careful. Sarcastic is different to caustic. Now understand how. No, Tarun, I read the other comments as well. I read the comments on, I read all your comments on app. Okay? अच्छा देखो, now understand the difference between sarcastic and caustic. Caustic is rude. Okay? तुमसे नहीं होगा मुझे पता था, तुमने गलत कर दिया, मैंने बोला था तुमको तुम लायक नहीं हो, When I say something of that sort, I'm rude. But when I say, wow, bete, बहुत अच्छा काम किया, when you did something wrong, that is sarcastic, my children. Sarcastic is making fun to criticize. It has a tinge of humor. Directly saying is caustic. Indirectly saying in a taunting way, that's sarcastic. So, disparaging can be caustic. Yes, Salifa. Disparaging can be caustic. Yes, Movies. Sardonic can be condescending. Haughty, yes, it can be. Taunting is sarcastic. Indirectly. Sardonic is haughty. Yes, it is. Okay? Now, got that difference, everyone? Cool. So we've got defensive. अब देखो defensive ना एक it depends आप उसको पॉजिटिव तरीके से लिखते हो या उसको नेगेटिव तरीके से लिखते हो. जब आपने कुछ गलत कर दिया बट आप डिफेंड कर रहे हो कि नहीं नहीं मैंने गलत किया क्योंकि मैं ऐसा कर सकता हूँ, आप अपने आप को डिफेंड करते हो गलत चीज के लिए, तो वो नेगेटिव डिफेंसिव हो गया. बट किसी ने सही किया और उसको पनिशमेंट मिल गया, अब आप उसको डिफेंड कर रहे हो, तो पॉजिटिव डिफेंसिव भी हो सकता है. So defensive can actually lie between positive and negative both. You have to carefully see what tone it is used with. But defensive is basically taking side of something, supporting something. That is defensive, my children. Okay? Caustic can be acrid, yes. Caustic can also be acerbic. Simran, acerbic. Acerbic. Praveen, I am not a lawyer. I have never studied law. But if you think I talk like I belong to an NLU, I will take it as a compliment. I'm not a lawyer. Okay? So does you know what is cynical? Cynical में समझाती हूँ क्या होता है. देखो प्रीति, cynical का मतलब होता है a person who behaves like a crazy, who just does not trust anybody. तुम भी मुझे harm कर रहे हो, तुम भी मुझे harm कर रहे हो, तुम भी मेरा खराब चाहते हो. Everybody wants to harm me. That is cynical. Like a crazy, not trusting anybody. That is cynic. That behavior is cynic. So Preeti, Movies, Manish, Alifa, all of you are commenting only to harm me. That's cynical. Okay? Alright. So, but Praveen, I've taught thousands of kids who are in NLUs. I can talk about them in the clap platform. Let's move on to now. Any questions about the three tones I had taught you? Yes, contempt से contemptuous. बिल्कुल अलीफा यूज कर सकते हो आप. For defensive, maybe for cynical as well sometimes. Okay. Now, any questions, anyone, before I take you to some questions today? Skeptical, Alifa. Yes, that's cynical. You doubt everyone's intention. All right, so let me show you some questions. Ma'am, can you please suggest best newspaper that we should read daily? Nimish, it has to be the Hindu, but you could also read the Indian Express. I like both the newspapers a lot. If I had to choose one, it has to be the Hindu, but nothing beyond Hindu and Indian Express. Please don't read the Times of India or anything else. Here we go. Okay, read this passage. Tell me what should your answer be out of the tones. Good luck, everyone. What's our turn here? Yes, Arshia, this is from The Animal by George Orwell. Yes, Raji. Philosophical or persuasive? ठीक है, दो आंसर आ गए मेरे पास. Others? इधर अच्छा एक बात बताओ. Does it look like a political leader is addressing the citizens? Yes. Some leader is giving a speech with the first word, comrades, he cried. With pigs, our brain workers, the whole management and organization. ऐसा लग रहा है यूनियन का लीडर बात कर रहा है. अगर यूनियन का लीडर बात कर रहा है तो वो क्या करना चाह रहा है? He cried, he squealed. What is he trying to do? Is he presenting a philosophy? Is he talking about life, death, any of these things? No, he's not. It can't be philosophical. When a leader talks, what does he do? A union leader talks like he's persuading you to believe in him and do something to change the society. It cannot be objective, it cannot be philosophical, it has to be persuasive, my child. So, वो स्पीच याद है? मित्रों, ये मेरा क्या बिगाड़ लेंगे? तो क्या कर रहे थे उधर हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर? हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर आपको परसुएड कर रहे थे उनमें बिलीव करने के. दैट इज अ परसुएसिव. बट दिस एवरीवन फिलोसॉफिकल नहीं होगा, ऑब्जेक्टिव नहीं होगा. कुछ समझाना नहीं चाह रहा यहाँ वो आपको परसुएड करना चाह रहा है लीडर की तरह. ऑब्जेक्टिव होता है एक्सप्लेनेटरी. नॉट एन एक्सप्लेनेटरी पैसेज. इज अ कन्विंसिंग वन. लेट्स कम टू द नेक्स्ट पैराग्राफ. राइट. मानस बिकॉज डी मीन्स एक्सप्लेनेटरी और यहाँ पैसेज एक्सप्लेनेशन नहीं दे रहा कोई चीज. आप बात कर रहे हैं किसी से. एक्सप्लेनेटरी मानस होता है जो पैसेज टेक्स्ट बुक्स में से होता है कुछ समझाने के लिए. इन्फ्लेशन क्या होता है उस पर एक चैप्टर लिखा हुआ है, वो हो गया ऑब्जेक्टिव. ओके, दिस आंसर. Should your answer be? Yes, Manish, exactly. I wanted to quote that. Very good. बिल्कुल एलिमिनेशन से निकल सकता है ये. देखो, रेवरेंशियल पॉजिटिव टोन है, ऑब्जेक्टिव न्यूट्रल टोन है, क्रिटिकल और ट्रैजिक नेगेटिव टोन्स है. ट्रैजिक तब होता है जब बहुत कुछ खराब हो जाता है, जैसे सुनामी आ गई या होलोकॉस्ट हो गया. ये सारे एग्जांपल्स ट्रैजिक के एग्जांपल्स होते हैं. राइट. अब देखते हैं यहां कैसे फाइंड करेंगे आंसर. इट वॉज अ फार्स, पहला नेगेटिव वर्ड. ठीक है. फिर आता है Bush's successor in the job, once regarded as the most powerful in the world, was condemned. He was criticized it as a tragedy. अब tragedy word का मतलब नहीं कि tragic हो गया है कुछ. ठीक है. सेकेंड नेगेटिव वर्ड. अब नेगेटिव वर्ड तो रेवरेंशियल तो बिल्कुल है ही नहीं और ऑब्जेक्टिव भी है ही नहीं. मुझे क्रिटिकल और ट्रैजिक में से चूज करना है. 7 years and 4 months, मिशन अकॉम्प्लिश. बराक ओबामा अनाउंस नेशन वाइज. उन्होंने बेसिकली बोला हमारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी खत्म हो गई है और हम अपना इराक में कॉम्बैट मिशन खत्म कर रहे हैं. और पूरे वर्ल्ड ने उनको इस खत्म करने के लिए क्रिटिसाइज किया. बिटरली रेजिग्नेशन को छोड़ दिया उन्होंने, गलत किया. सो इट्स अ क्रिटिकल टर्न. ओके मनीष, आया समझ में? ट्रैजिक क्यों नहीं है, बहुत सैड नहीं है ये. यहां बुश को क्रिटिसिज्म मिल रही है इस डिसीजन लेने के लिए. द डिसीजन दैट ही हैड टेकन टू लीव इराक in the midst of a problematic situation. ट्रैजिक होता जब उसका रिजल्ट डेवास्टेटिंग होता, millions of people died, there was a genocide. वो ट्रैजिक होता है. Okay, the answer here is critical. Next question. Here you go. What's going to be your answer here? Read this, tell me the answer. एग्जैक्टली तरुण, आपके लिए समझना जरूरी है पैसेज क्या बोल रहा है, जिसे आपको समझ में आ जाए. ओके अर्शिया, अच्छा एक बात बताओ, वाज आई राइट इन सेइंग जो चीज समझ में नहीं आती वो फिलोसफिकल होती है? रीजन, टेस्ट, नॉलेज, ट्रूथ, फॉल्सहुड. ओ लॉर्ड आलिया, ये सब क्या होता है? वाइस, वर्च्यू, ये सारी बातें फिलोसफिकल बातें हैं. So the answer has to be, my children, you're absolutely right. Philosophical. Yes. Yes, Nimish, it is be philosophical. I've got two more passages with me. Okay? This is a philosophical. Next one. No, this one. Yes, this one. What's going to be our tone? Praiseworthy? Okay. Philosophical. Yes, it is sarcastic. It isn't philosophical. It isn't praiseworthy. It's sarcastic. Sarcasm है, वो criticize कर रहा है उन लोगों को जो लोग while they talk rubbish. So they say light travels faster than sound, and that is why some people appear bright because I can see the light. But when they speak, I find them foolish. Completely sarcastic. He's criticizing the people who talk foolishly. It's critical. Sorry, it is sarcastic. Got my point? Yes. Alright, guys. So, that was it about the tone of the author. I hope you understood the tones. And I would want you to practice the tones every day while you read editorials. Tomorrow, I'll be coming up with few common mistakes people do while they solve any critically written passage. What mistakes do they do? I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. Why aren't you able to get correct answers in critical reasoning and verbal ability alike? And what are the common mistakes that you do? Sure, you come live tomorrow again at 12:30, and I shall see you again 12:30 tomorrow. Have a very, very good day, and God bless all of you. Thank you, Arshia, my child. Thank you. Thank you so much.